Say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And we're going to open with this scripture. This is Mark 3:25, and it reads, "If a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end." And Satan means adversary, a human adversary, all right? Not the spiritual or the angel, Satan, all right? Because contrary to popular belief, the angel Satan is an obedient servant to the Lord. He's not some rogue renegade leading a group of renegade angels, you know, how they put that false name Lucifer on him. That Lucifer is also talking about men, people. Lucifer just means in the scriptures, enlightened, illuminated, that you're illuminated, you have wisdom, you have knowledge. All right, you have to ask yourself, how did Lucifer get into the Old Testament? And then it tells you in that same passage, that is this the man? Lucifer is talking about a man, a people, the Edomites. And you're looking at an Edomite now. All right, this Israeli here, you got plenty of Jewish encyclopedias, the 1981, the 1971, the 1925, and the 1905, and probably many others that clearly tell you that modern day Israelis are Edom. All right, that they are not, that a modern day Israeli is a citizen of Israel, modern day citizen of Israel, not to be confused for an Israelite of the tribes of any of the tribes of Jacob's sons. That's just what it is. But nevertheless, Stephen Benoon, I actually like to watch his channel, and he brings out really good information. And he's very diligent in his searches. And in this video I believe this was yesterday, and they were talking about the Insurrection Act. But now, according to information that's come out, this Insurrection Act actually has been signed. And I'm just going to let this information play because I'm not going to try to explain it. But things are not okay in America. It looks like different media outlets about to be taken over and shut down. Biden will not be a president, and he may even get arrested, and a whole bunch of other people, including the Clintons and Obama and some of his people. They're possibly tied up in this and in all this stuff as well. I'm not 100% sure about the arrest part or who's going to be arrested, but it definitely looks like that is going to happen. But those names did pop up. So I'm not saying 100% that it will be any of those people, but it's kind of looking like it. So without any further ado, I'm going to go to about the right about here, and just let it play from there.
About some very disturbing things tomorrow.
Got ahead of myself.
While the acquisition of laptops have been confirmed, that's several laptops, including, while the content is not officially permissible in court, but has thus far provided helpful information. The content is still being reviewed. Also, the point 3, as we have previously discussed, I can confirm that Trump has no less than 4 paths from which to choose to defend his position. The challenge has been deciding on which paths are most bulletproof. Unexpected turn of events at the rally has delayed the decision, as Team Trump is exercising great care in each step before the step is taken. And one thing I've been told quite extensively is you got to keep in mind, you never know what's going to happen. What will be the defense of the Democratic side, Biden's side? I've also been told that Biden's team is also very much involved in trying to get China to come in, that Biden has already reached out to China. And it's kind of funny because China has helped Trump with information against Biden, but yet Biden is reaching out to China to be able to try to get them to deal with what they perceive as going to be an insurrection, as going to be more violence, and they're wanting China to come in to help them to put an end to that violence in the nation. So, sort of a United Nations force, something I'd mentioned to you as well recently in another video. And as I told you that my uncle, when he shared that with me, they would come in as a peacekeeping force, and it would be under the auspices of civil war, civil unrest in the nation here. but in reality, it's going to end up being definitely not benevolent. It's going to be a very much a bloodbath trying to disarm the nation. I was told that there.
Yeah, because part of this is this insurrection act is disarmament of all the people of their guns, and you see the way that gun sales went off the charts since from the time that Obama came into office up until now. All right, and so now all these legal gun owners, you're going to try and disarm the most heavily armed population of people in the earth who believe in the Constitution, and the majority of them believe in the Second Amendment. Because from what I'm being told, information I'm getting, they're actually going to come after the NRA itself. So yeah, and that's the reason why it's getting ready to get ugly out here. And we're talking about within the next couple weeks. We've been telling you and warning you of these days, and we've been telling you and warning you that 2021 was going to be way worse than 2020. You're going to be wishing for the good old days of 2020 in the next couple weeks to come, one way or another, and Yahweh Ratazat, they don't, strike my new channel and delete this video. But this isn't information that I'm just coming up with. This is information that's already abroad, which is what they do, because you put up information and then they'll delete or strike your channel and the information. This video that I'm profiling will still be up, but it's crazy. But go ahead. Let's continue.
That is a very tempting offer for the Chinese to do so, although the insider that I work with does not believe that will happen, but it's possible. So keep that in mind. He also mentioned in the video there was talk dissolving of fundamentally the restructuring of the United States. He said, I've confirmed that this idea is not considered as being viable because of the enormous legal implications both at the state and federal levels would require either years of litigation, hearing appeals, which would also likely result in civil war or wars, or the complete overthrow, which would require foreign invasion of some sort. There again, we're getting back to this Chinese issue that we're talking about. He goes on to say, as I read in the green, it should be noted that under the Obama administration, there was such a plan to start the process of dividing up the country, starting with Executive Order 13528, establishing the Council of Governors. Under the auspices of improving federal-state relationships, processions when FEMA was called into action. There was strong pushback from a variety of people and groups, even though the approach was very soft first step. Executive Order 13528 was to be followed carefully, crafted bills that would be periodically released to slowly increase the power of the 10 districts, including the requirement to have a visa in order to travel from one district to another, much like China, Russia, and the other socialist type countries, one way or another. I do see this coming post-Trump. So very much believing, though, that Trump is going to remain in power, although that's not a 100% guarantee. But that is still the consensus that he's going to stay in power. I've also was told tonight.
So that in itself could bring utter chaos in America, Trump staying in power. And it does, especially with the information that's come out today. It looks like that could very well be so, because it seems that your president who was elected or could have been falsely elected, Biden, it looks like he's getting ready to have some serious legal issues and not be able to take office.
That Trump will not, or excuse me, there will not be an inauguration for Joe Biden. And I also asked about the Insurrection Act, because someone else had pointed out in a video that somebody said that Trump did sign the Insurrection Act. Although that would not be directly answered to me, it was put in such a way to where the answer is yes. The president definitely has signed the Insurrection Act. So we can expect seeing him seize power. Martial law, that I was told, would not be a nationwide event. Because I was very concerned about if we go under martial law, under an Insurrection Act, knowing that the military already wants to vaccinate everybody mandatorily, how would that work out if we end up going under martial law? We're going to also be under forced vaccination. I was told, though, that that would not be the case under this particular incident, because the Insurrection Act was only going to be used in a limited sense. It would be used to where he would take control of those states that have defrauded the election. So we could expect to see, in this case here, we would expect to see martial law and troops on the ground in states such as Georgia, Arizona, Michigan, and Pennsylvania.
Heavy militia
states. We would see those things come into play, and that he would seize power, which would also put a stop to any government employees, senators, whatever it may be, congressmen, judges, and stuff. They're not allowed to delete or shred any documents, but that has been done. They are prepared for that event there.
So something major is about to go down very, very soon. This is 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, starting in verse 14, and it reads, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand, and there shall be sedition among men." And what does sedition mean? Insurrections. That's your sedition. All right. And they just signed the Insurrection Act. All right. "There shall be seditions among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, nor the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." He just described all that in this Insurrection Act. All right. They're talking about having visas to travel from one district to another, like in Russia and other parts of the world. "For a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of the pride of the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And the man shall have no pity on his neighbor, but he shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for the great tribulation." For example, there's been tremendous carjackings and crimes in Chicago. And they're stealing they're jacking these cars like pirates on the high seas jacking a boat, because they're looking for the booty. What's in your trunk? What's in your wallet? What's in the, so not only to get the car, but they're getting what's on your person as well. All right. It's going to get to the point where they're going to be doing home invasions. That is coming, and it's coming soon. And all you women that don't need a man, that live alone, well, if you go back and watch the first Purge and you see the scene with Diego when he with his bunker buster, and he comes through the door of the very attractive brown woman and her very attractive brown daughter. All right. I mean, it is what it is. Let's fast forward to about the 17th minute mark, because they're talking about blackouts. There's been blackouts lately all around the country and in different parts of the world. And I've heard, the rumblings of these, during these blackouts is when they're going to start snatching people up, and taking them away to these sites.
The members, and then, to the general public. That plan went out the window because this operation was...
This is Simon Parks, by the way. All right. I highly suggest that you subscribe to his channel. Also, this one, Israeli News Live, Stephen Banoon. These Edomites are on point with a lot of their information. Okay. And they're cross-checking. These are the type guys that just they do diligent searches, and they'll tell you if they're not sure of something, and they'll tell you if something is confirmed. All right. And the Insurrection Act is confirmed.
Brought forward. I need to explain to you what's happened, why that's had to be brought forward. Those of you who've done your research, and those of you who haven't, have a good look. You'll know that Pakistan suffered a huge power outage. About 40% of the country, that's a big country, 40% of the country was out.
The main thing I'm trying to look at on this right here is the fact that things are changing, of course, naturally, but he knew about the information but could not.
Hey, he said 40% of the country was without power. All right, so there was, and you're talking about a country of a little over 200 million people. So 40% is almost half. So though those people were without power for a number of days, so that you can only imagine the chaos there, the crime, the drama that came with that, with being in the dark. This is 2 Ezra 6:24, and it reads, "At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run." So we're talking about a lack of water. All right, and they're on these different videos was saying that you got to remember, the water is directly connected to the electricity now. It didn't used to be that way, but it is now. So when these power outages come, there also will be no drinking water, no water to wash or bathe or clean yourself. All right. More importantly, there won't be water for you to drink.
Speak about it. I need to try to see if I can fast forward this to the right place for that. So let me see if I get some more information for you.
And can you imagine if you were in the United States Air Force or any European Air Force, and you should go to war with Chuck Minister has been arrested? I can tell you that I've only had one report, and those of you who know me, I don't go live with you guys until I have two independent reports telling me the same thing. I cannot confirm that the Italian Prime Minister has been arrested. I can tell you that it's true that an Italian judge signed a warrant for his arrest, and also signed a warrant for the arrest of a very high-ranking leading general.
So you got a prime minister and a general being arrested. If you can't, and that's directly connected to something that's going on here in America, in Italy. All right, and I know that I saw a video just the other day about some Italy guy, some high-ranking official in Italy coming forth with evidence of voter fraud here in America. All right, so I'm like, what? So what is Italy, huh? It's like, what's going on? That's going to be the name of this video. What is going on? It's so much happening. It's hard to even get a grip on it.
He was responsible for the Leonardi satellites. The Italian government is up to their neck in this, but a deal is trying to be done with the United States or with Trump to say that, can we please say that the Leonardi satellites were hacked? Therefore, it absolves the Italian government from prosecution. And I think the Americans might be saying, yes, okay, we'll accept that, but you've got to arrest X, Y, and Z. So that's what's happening in Italy. There was a considerable...
When he's talking about the Italian Prime Minister, I did get one report, although I cannot confirm that independently, kind of like Mr. Parks, I like that, use two sources when I'm dealing with issues like that, unless it is specifically one source that I have where I don't have any question about the integrity of that information. But I did get one report in that, yes, he was arrested.
Wow.
Outage in Berlin. Don't be surprised, because we had all the Dominion servers in Frankfurt in Germany, and there was some administrative stuff in Berlin that had to be dealt with. That's that. There is a curfew in Quebec from 8.
So it seems like what you're about to see, too, you're going to see a lot of these high-ranking officials and more of this division as these high-ranking eagles are going to start turning on each other. All right. Let's just fast forward to the end of this. Right about. Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of where we're going to end it at today. We're going to be talking about some very disturbing things tomorrow. Sometime tomorrow, be me and my wife. We were going to actually do some today, but we've just really been tied up trying to get this information, these loose ends tied up for you on the situation that's going on with the president and releasing this information to the public. So that's kind of held us up a little bit, but we wanted to get that information to you. But there are some very, very serious and disheartening information that's been shared with us in relations to this pandemic that's been going on. And I say that especially in light of a good friend of mine sent me a message. A good friend of his there, his sister is a doctor in California, and I'll be sharing with you that information. 2 of the nurses there have since passed away, since being, how would you call that, stuck. We'll use the word stuck because everybody else is using that J word, and I don't want anybody to pick up what we're talking about there. 2 have died, and also there are people between 55 and 72 years old after being stuck in their arm there are also suffering with heart attacks. So we put together a lot of information, things like that, what doctors are saying, and why this neo-Nazi.
So I'm looking forward to seeing that report of whatever they bring out today. He and his wife, who has been pretty much on point, because a lot of the information that they put up, I've reposted it and gotten strikes and videos removed and deleted in that whole sort of nation. So, you know, matter of fact, let's get that little saying, that meme, if I can find it real quick, that I kept, because the saying is so true. And yeah, it says, how can you tell the truth is being told when Facebook blocks it, when Twitter deletes it, Google hides it, YouTube bans it, the media censors it, and your government forbids it? So if that being the case, more than likely what you're hearing is the truth. All right? Call hello Yahweh Bashem Nabashai by Shem Bakar Kadash, Wa Abba Shalom.